One of the most frustrating things on the GMAT is doing the math correctly, seeing your number in the answer choices, and still being wrong. That usually happens because of misdirection. The GMAT lets you solve the problem, just not the one you were supposed to answer. But let me show you how this trap works. Hi, I'm Andrea Madeira, and I work with GMAT students on avoiding the traps that cost the most points. So, misdirection happens when the GMAT nudges you toward the calculation, lets you finish it cleanly, and then checks whether you notice what the question was actually asking. Most misdirection errors are not math mistakes, they're reading, discipline mistakes. So this trap is especially dangerous because your work looks correct, your number looks familiar, your confidence goes up, but at the wrong moment. And the GMAT loves questions where the wrong answer is an intermediate result. So let's look at a very typical GMAT-style example to elucidate this trap. So Mary wants to paint a wall with light gray color. She has 68 liters of pure white paint and 20 liters of black paint. How many liters of black paint will be left over if she uses all the white paint but only wants the color to consist of 15% black? So before doing any math, I do one thing. I write the exact question in big letters in a visible spot during the exercise resolution, and I circle it, so I don't miss the last calculation before selecting the answer choice. In our exercise, the question was, how many liters of black paint will be left over? This is not decoration, this is protection. Most students immediately calculate how much black paint is used, and that calculation is not wrong. It's not just the final answer, and of course the GMAT makes sure that number will appear in the answer choices. So let me walk you through the exercise. So we know at this point that Mary wants a light gray color. We have 68 liters of white paint, let me call it W, and 20 liters of black paint. So we have 20 liters of black paint, so this is the total amount of black paint. And how many liters of black paint will be left over if she uses all the white paint but only wants the color to consist of 15% black? So we want 15% of the color has black. So let me call it B, small, has the amount of black paint used. Let me write it here. So black used. 50% will be equal to the amount of black paint used. So this is what I called here B small, divided by the total amount of paint. So the total amount of paint will be all the white paint we had, so 68 liters, plus the amount of black paint that I'm going to use, then this is B again. So now we need to calculate this, and this is the algebra we need to use. But this is the algebra to calculate the amount of black used. Do not forget that the question was how much black paint will be left over. So the last calculation you need to do is the total amount of black paint you have, so 20, minus the amount of black paint that you are going to use. So circle this, put this big, very visible, so you do not forget to do this last calculation. So let's solve this. We have 15 times 68 plus 15b is going to be equal to 100b. So we have 15 times 68, this is going to be 85b. Then let's divide both sides by 85. So 15 times 68 divided by 85 will be our value of b. We know that 68 is 4 times 17 and 85 is 5 times 17. So we can cross here 17. We divide the 5 by the 15, we have 3. So 3 times 4, so b will be 12. And notice that this value here is on our answer choices. So the intermediate result is here. So many times students are so focused on calculating the amount of b that when they see 12 and look at the answer choices and this value is here, they select answer choice C because of misdirection. So the intermediate result is here. So when we circle this, the intention is not to forget that our last calculation must be 20 minus the value that we found now, so 12, and 20 minus 12 is going to give us 8, so our correct answer choice here would be answer choice A, 8. The GMAT will reward the students that finish the math, not the students that finish the question. This is the real lesson of misdirection. So the rule is, before calculating anything, identify exactly what the question is asking. Then reinforce your habit, write it down, circle it, and underline keywords like leftover, remaining, after, net change, among others. That single habit prevents a huge number of GMAT mistakes. If you notice, misdirection works because most students rush, intermediate results feel satisfying, and confidence kicks in too early. But remember, top scorers slow down before they calculate, not after. So if you missed questions like this before, it doesn't mean you don't understand ratios, percentage, rates, mixers, or any other GMAT topic. It just means that GMAT got you to answer the wrong question. Once you control that trap, this becomes very manageable. So now, if you want to keep exploring how the GMAT sets traps like this, you can subscribe to follow the series.